This week on NewsNight, Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto traveled to Washington, D.C. last week to meet with officials about gun legislation. President Trump accepted the resignation of the now former National Security Advisor, and the Pentagon is announcing new budget cuts coming to the military. Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas. Hear what a Point Park student from the Bahamas said about the destruction to neighboring islands. Point Park students witnessed a car crash by Village Park. Point Park Chief of Police Jeffrey Bisong released a statement. Find out what former sealer is now facing sexual assault allegations. All that and more coming up on NewsNight. Good evening, I'm Zoe Vitelli. We begin tonight with a car accident on campus. Last week, students who were awake past midnight on September 9th may have heard some commotion coming from the intersection of Wood Street and Boulevard of the Allies. In a statement from Jeffrey Bisong, the Assistant Vice President of Public Safety and Point Park Chief of Police, at 12:45 a.m., Point Park Police responded to a hit-and-run car accident involving two vehicles. Bisong stated that Pittsburgh Police arrived on scene at 12:55 a.m. to file their own report. Freshman psychology major Tyler Cunningham and a group of friends were walking home from Pizza Fiesta through Village Park when the accident happened. Cunningham said his friend called the police while the rest of the students checked on the car that had been hit. The summary of the accident from Bisong states that a vehicle ran the red light at the Wood Street and Boulevard intersection, striking another vehicle in the rear bumper, then fleeing. Due to the speed of the car and the lights on the vehicle, Point Park's cameras were unable to identify the license plate, but the vehicle was viewed traveling at high speeds through red lights around the city. The accident is still under investigation. Last Tuesday, September 10th, Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto met with Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey to discuss what the mayor's daily schedule described as common-sense gun safety legislation. He met with local and federal legislators in a press conference hosted by Mayors Against Illegal Guns. These meetings come in the wake of the mass shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio, that killed 31 people aged 15 to 57 and injured many others. He also met with other mayors who are trying to press the federal government to adopt background check legislation. Mayors in attendance were from cities that have faced mass shooting tragedies in the past, such as Dayton, Miami, Parkland, and Fort Worth. Following the shooting at Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill, Peduto took on gun control as one of his top priorities. In early August, he had a meeting with Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action, a movement that fights for legislation that protects people from gun violence. According to the Pennsylvania Code of Ordinances, quote, empirical study and recent history demonstrate that assault weapons in large capacity magazines should be prohibited because they present an unacceptable and needless public safety risk. The president has previously called on Congress to act and vote. Also, in the last few weeks, the Pentagon released which military projects will be receiving budget cuts to fund the U.S.-Mexico border wall. The list totals $3.6 billion of cuts that will be redirected to fund the wall. According to CBS and the New York Times, $62.6 million will be diverted from the new middle school that was to be funded in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Other affected programs are both national and international projects. In a press briefing by the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Mark Morgan, that with the Secretary of Defense's decision to add an additional $3.6 billion, they are planning to add 450 to 500 new miles of the border by the end of 2020. This past week, there have been a number of new developments from the Trump administration. John Bolton, the recent National Security Advisor for President Trump, has resigned and/or has been fired as of early last week. Bolton was President Trump's fourth national security advisor, and after serving 520 days in office, President Trump posted a statement on Twitter in a series of tweets stating, quote, I informed John Bolton last night that his services are no longer needed at the White House. I disagreed strongly with many of his suggestions, as did others in the administration. He went on in tweets stating he asked Bolton to resign. However, Bolton retaliated through Twitter, saying that he offered to resign that night and was not fired by the president. According to the Associated Press, the president told reporters in the Oval Office that he has 5 new candidates for the position and will name a new advisor sometime this week. After the break, your weekly forecast plus an update on Hurricane Dorian.
All right, go.
Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
be like, join EOP. And 3, 2, join EOP.
Grab them now, or else I can snap.
Yeah.
Join on point with politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back. We have high temperatures and sun in this week's forecast, and here's Andrew Bench with your weather update.
Thank you, Zoe, and good evening, Point Park. We had some beautiful weather today, but the question is, will this nice weather continue throughout the week? Let's check the weekly forecast to find out. Tuesday through Friday, it's supposed to continue being beautiful out with some sunny weather and highs in the lower 80s and upper 70s. High of 80 tomorrow with a low of 55. No need for the jacket just yet. On Friday, it's supposed to get a little warmer with a high of 81 and a low of 54. And on Saturday, it's supposed to get even warmer with a high of 83 and a low of 61, back up into lower 60s for the low there. Still mostly sunny. On Sunday, however, it's supposed to get up into the upper 80s with a high of 86 and a low of 65, with some clouds rolling in. And finally on Monday, the temperature will drop back down to a high of 79 with a chance of scattered thunderstorms, 40% chance of precipitation. I'm Andrew Bench, and that's your weekly forecast.
Thanks, Andrew. Hurricane Dorian has wreaked havoc in the Bahamas. Zoe Angelucci joins us now with the details. Zoe?
With at least 50 dead and 1,300 still missing after 2 weeks, Dorian without a doubt left his mark. According to CNN and the New York Times, the Category 5 hurricane hit the Bahamas on September 1st. Hitting the Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama, Dorian broke records as one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes. After hitting the Bahamas, Dorian was set to hit Florida. However, it changed courses. Florida was hit with just a few storms. Shortly after, on September 5th, the Carolina shores were hit by a Category 2 version of Hurricane Dorian. Without a doubt, Dorian hit the Bahamas the hardest. The hurricane left the Bahamas with thousands of destroyed lives and homes. Freshman Point Park student Charlotte Nevins is from Nassau, Bahamas, which is south of the affected islands. She had friends of friends that were directly affected and left with nothing but a backpack and the clothes on their backs. Nevins explained, "It was hard to watch and not be there. I struggled for a bit in the beginning. I've been trying to share as much as I can, like donate, post this, do what you can. Everyone is still worried for the future, obviously. Already the economy isn't great and there's a lot of poverty. The people that don't have anything are the people who don't have anything on a good day. I don't know how they're going to recover, and that's going to be hard. It's going to be up to the community and society. People are going to have to take people in." End quote. The Bahamas and affected areas are in dire need of help. You can help by donating to UNICEF at unicefusa.org. Zoe?
The break, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost their first home game against the Seattle Seahawks. Former Steeler Antonio Brown is facing sexual assault allegations, and a football field caught fire during an opening ceremony. Stay with us.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family.
Openness. Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
Two-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
We're now back with an update on that close Steelers game, plus more sports with Kenneth Foran.
A pyrotechnic device malfunctioned yesterday at Nissan Stadium, spewing flames towards the stands prior to the game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. No fans or staff were harmed in the incident, but the fire did leave a patch of scorched turf on the sideline. According to the Titans organization, the device, which was used during the Titans team entrance, will undergo inspection to determine the cause of the mishap. Former Pittsburgh Steeler Antonio Brown was accused of sexual assault last Sunday. His accuser, Brittany Taylor, claimed that Brown exposed himself to her twice in June of 2017 and raped her on May 20th of 2018. The New England Patriots, Brown's new team, has issued a statement saying, quote, "We take these allegations very seriously. Under no circumstance does this organization condone sexual violence or assault. The league has informed us that they will be investigating," end quote. Taylor was scheduled to meet with the NFL today concerning the case, but a statement about the investigation has yet to be released. The Pittsburgh Steelers faced off in a well-rounded battle against the Seattle Seahawks yesterday for their home opener. The first half was heavily decided by the defense, as the Steelers alone were able to record 3 sacks and a fumble recovery in just the first quarter. However, some resistance was shown in the second as both teams were able to generate some points on offense. Upon returning for the third quarter, both offenses showed off their talent with several spectacular catches and multiple scoring drives. Unfortunately for the Steelers, a missed 2-point conversion in the fourth forced them to trail for the remainder of the game, losing to the Seahawks 28-26. The record now sits at 0-2. Finally, breaking earlier today, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin released a statement about quarterback Ben Roethlisberger's elbow injury, stating that he will need surgery and will be out for the season. We'll be right back.
The United Student Government at Point Park University, working since the 1970s to solve the issues that matter to you. What concerns do you have about the university? Student life, safety, food service? Send us an email to studentconcerns@pointpark.edu or stop by our office on the 7th floor of the Student Center. You can also attend our weekly open meetings on Mondays at 3:15. Follow us on social media at USG_PPU for more. The United Student Government, by the students, for the students.
The Point Park Sports Network, bringing you live coverage of Pioneer Athletics on Stretch Internet, the home of the River States Conference and the NAIA. Subscribe today for complete access to the Point Park volleyball, baseball, basketball, and soccer teams. Watch live and on-demand broadcasts and don't miss a minute of Point Park Athletics. Head to pointparksports.com/live for broadcast listings. The Point Park Sports Network, your streaming home for Point Park Athletics.
3, 2, 1.
Please visit our website. Please, it's a nice website. Please visit our website. Please.
If you have ever watched television, whether accidentally or on purpose, YouView is for you.
That's your news for tonight. I'm Zoe Vitelli. Thanks for watching and good night.